Well, hello, welcome to Inside the Broken Family. This is a podcast we've been doing for
almost a year.
11 months. It's kind of crazy. The structure of this podcast is there will be a reader, and then following that, there will be reactions to that person's reading. Any thoughts about last week's?
Tell them what the topic is.
Any thoughts about last week's podcast? It hasn't come out yet, but we all filmed it.
I'm trying to remember what it was. I can tell you.
I wrote about my feelings. Amelie wrote about feelings. Maybe just talk about it a week.
Yeah, go for it.
Why are you looking at me? Why does somebody else talk? I talk all the time.
You said let's talk about it for a week.
No.
You were just talking quiet on the mic. It's just far away from you.
Trying to think what happened to my week. It went by. It's gone.
Dad and I have been doing saunas, red light sauna, and cold plunges for about a month now. And we did it 4 times last week. It really helps my pain for 2 hours. I walk around almost free of pain after doing that. But then I think I've been doing it so much that I'm actually having it a little more intense in pain. So I'm trying to figure out if it's like cleaning out, like detoxing things. So I wish I had an answer for that. If I'm detoxing and that's why I'm hurting more in places. So interesting. But there's a lot of good health benefits for the sauna and red light sauna and cold plunge.
Okay, well, we have a topic for this week. The topic is strangers in the night. So all of our readings will be based on that topic. I will start. I don't have a title for this, so maybe you guys can throw out some suggestions after. Emptiness is where truth lies behind. An empty heart beats not for the blood it is missing, but for the hope that it can continue to love. Like 2 strangers in the night passing each other on a sidewalk, remembering a life that is, will be, and once was, only to shake their heads in a common defiance. Gestures to the thoughts that flow so freely, denying the realities that could be remembered. For the sake of saving their diamond-studded personas and wearing their golden-leafed clothes, 2 strangers pass each other's empty lives, pretending they have more. Both hearts beat for the blood they've been sold, not the love that waits to be acknowledged. Emptiness, the pathway to understanding one's soul.
What were you thinking about? Like, was there a certain thing that popped in your head as you were writing that? Or was it from something that you... Because what got me, I really liked, is the part where the 2 souls passing each other, and both, I mean, to me, that's the way I was taking it at the beginning. They pass each other and we don't know what's going on. Like they could be very lonely, like you said, like we don't know what each one's going through. We're just strangers passing. And it's like when you can take time to actually hear someone's story, it's always so fascinating to hear. But I really like how you put that. I like how you put that all together.
What was the line you had about diamond-studded?
For the sake of saving their diamond-studded persona and wearing their golden-leafed clothes.
I think that's super interesting. Okay, I'll talk again. I think it's super interesting. It makes me think about like TikTok or the Kardashians or whatever, that they seem to have their butts made bigger, their chest made bigger, their lips made bigger, whatever it is, everybody on TV. Plus, they seem to have this brand of clothes that they wear, or they have to promote.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's trickling down to all the kids and the young kids, and just that aren't making that kind of money, and they think they have to have bigger, better, tanner skin, bigger lips, all the wrinkle stuff starting in your 20s, whatever it is, the fillers. Yeah, I think that line is a really powerful line, because it makes you think about the things that we sort of think we have to have.
Makes me think about the how often I think people, when interacting with someone else, don't actually listen. They're just thinking about what they're going to say next, or how to hold on to their diamond personas and their gold clothes.
How to look the best.
Yeah, it's something about that. It's like, what can I say that's going to make me look good?
Mm-hmm.
Or that your family's doing well, or something. A lot of people will tell many stories that really aren't what's the truth about their families. They have this persona of what they think it should look like.
So I just think that a lot of people, it'd probably be more accurate to say that people often are having conversations in their own head rather than actually hearing, understanding, and seeing the person they're sitting with.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it even goes to, like, further than that, like passing somebody on the street, that those stories, those conversations you have with yourself, those often take over rather than just letting the emptiness be what it is.
What came to my mind when you had that line about two strangers passing in the street, and after that, can you read what you said? And that's at the end, not the first part. Two strangers passing.
At the end? Or
Yeah, at the end.
At the very end of the
two
poem,
strangers pass each other's empty lives, pretending they have more. Do you want me to read the next line?
No, that's what I was thinking, but I was thinking in my head about two strangers passing each other and wondering, this is just total, I don't think this is even where you were going, but wondering about what love could have been lost between two strangers that will probably never cross each other's paths again. That is kind of a thought that came to my head.
Yeah, I really like that thought, and the love that could have been shared is the reality of what's going on, which is nothing.
Right, nothing.
And that acknowledgement's connecting.
It's kind of a fantasy world that when you cross paths with this stranger that you probably never meet again, and you have this flickering thought, what might that have been like?
Mm-hmm.
With a stranger that you cross paths with. Yeah.
Well, it's even interesting. What made me think about the conversation? It made me think about the conversation. I thought I was talking about how we were in the car earlier, driving, and you made the comment how when you were on walks, because we saw people walking, when you were on walks, you would think that the people in the cars would be thinking about you, or what are they thinking about me, or how are they looking at me, instead of just minding their own business. And so, I don't know. That's what that reminded me of just like how everyone's literally just coexisting.
Uh-huh.
I've enjoyed my whole life people watching. And they're strangers, right? You'd never see them again, but you're in an airport, or you're in a restaurant, or you're walking down the street, and you watch people. You watch what they do. You watch how they interact with someone else. They watch how they interact with a pet, or you watch what they're having to eat for lunch, or how they're getting ready to get board an airplane at the airport. That's people watching. That's kind of these strangers that we watch and will never interact with them again in our life's existence.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I really like the way you're matching with that sweater and the pillow and your hair. It all looks really pretty.
Okay. Mine is called Strangers in the Night.
I feel like I wish I could sing.
Jeremy could.
He's not here.
This is a little short story. A very short story. It was a chilly spring night. The weather was getting warm while the nights remained dark and cold. I had just spotted my target that would hopefully bring warmth and safety. I entered through a cracked window that must have been forgotten. The coast was clear and it looked like no one was home. I heard some creaks and quickly hid. A chubby, cross-eyed cat peers around the corner. I sigh in relief, knowing I haven't been caught. Finding a cozy place to rest was my next mission. A bed was in the next room, and it was calling my name. After resting my eyes for little, I suddenly heard the front door start to open. I quickly find a place in the closet to hide. I can see them, but they can't see me. I watch as a couple returns home for the night. They talk and ramble for hours. I can't handle being crammed any longer and decide to try to sneak out to another spot. I peer around the corner to see if it's safe, and I move quickly to the living room when all of a sudden, smack! Honey, I found and killed the fly. I don't know how it got in here.
That was really cute.
That's funny, Abby.
It made me think about a real incident. I heard a family tell of an intruder that lived in their house, like lived in the attic, or they thought it was a ghost, and it was an actual person living in their house.
Squatter.
That's
Crazy.
so really terrifying, actually.
That would be scary.
That was a good little short story on perception for me. I thought the whole time that it was you or a human
Yeah, I thought it was her.
that
starting out.
had, that maybe was homeless or whatever and needed a place to lay their head, and that's what I thought. I thought it was really fun that it was a fly.
And then I thought maybe it was Bae, but then you said Bae, was peering around the corner, so I thought, no, it's not Bae.
Wait, why did that make you think it wasn't Bae?
Well, I did. I started thinking it was Bae, but then I thought she went in the closet. Bae would just be out bugging you guys or mad at you or somehow. So, but then it was cute when you guys came in or the couple came in and they were talking and talked the night away. It was just really, that was cute thinking about that. And then they decided to come out. And, I don't know, it was just cute. Cute little fly story.
Not a happy ending for the fly.
No, but the couple were fine.
Many flies have bad endings.
How long is the housefly's life? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
Not very long.
What's the life cycle of a fly?
We should look that up.
I'm gonna look that up.
I'm guessing a week.
What's everybody's guesses? Check us a week.
Well, mosquito wasn't long. I learned
You
about
wrote
that.
about that? I don't think, I'd say less than a week.
You think only a week? Because I think they're pesty pests and last forever.
There's a lot of them though.
That's true.
Lifespan of houseflies 20 to 30 days.
Oh,
That's
longer
a
than
lot
a
more
mosquito.
than I thought.
No wonder.
Wow.
They like
That's
to,
crazy, actually.
That is. They like
Imagine
to torment us.
being your consciousness is put into a fly, and you're stuck in this house for 20 days.
Would it feel like 20 days? Or would it feel a lot
Well,
longer?
I don't think you have to. I love how he's like stuck in this house. It's horrible. It's
They
not
probably would
always
gravitate towards Sadie's
bad
raw neck.
Oh,
Do you remember in the Hyde Park house, we had a fire one night and we left the doors open and we came back in and flies covered the ceiling.
I do remember that. In that
Yeah.
vaulted ceiling
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
What house?
Hyde
The
Park.
Hyde Park House.
Vaulted ceiling.
It had a vaulted ceiling in the dining area of the kitchen.
Okay. I don't recall.
We put the
what.
Christmas tree there because it was a little taller.
All right, Mom. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Couch talks to you.
That's the problem. They either fall in too deep there or that one's squeaky. All right. Mine is called The Last Dance. All of us are strangers till we meet. Every day is new and we never know what's ahead. My grandmother always told me that's the thing that's exciting about life is we never know what's around the corner. We all have choices and different paths. Some are long and winding, some are straight. Some might be curvy and twisty before we end up where we might want to be. You never know where you might meet someone new. It might be at the grocery store, a fruit stand, on a trip, school, the movies, a concert, or maybe a sporting event. You never know what event might bring that new someone into your life. The day my life changed forever was the last day of July in 1983. I went to a dance with a friend. We had left our purses in the bathroom that night, which everyone did, so we could dance and have fun. It was towards the end of the night. We had gone back into the bathroom to get something in my purse, and I noticed my $20 was gone. I was so angry. I just wanted to go home. Jody, my friend, said, "Come on, let's go back in." Jody went in first. I was standing back. When a guy came and asked her to dance, she said no. I told her, "Jody, go dance." The guy looked at her and said, "Can I ask your friend then?" She said yes. I thought I didn't want to dance. I am so mad. Who is this strange guy with a great big grin? The lights were dim as he spun me around the room like a ballroom dancer as I hung on for dear life, dancing to a Donna Summers song. I wish I could remember. It was MacArthur's Park, McCarthy's Park, or The Last Dance. Little did I know how much that meeting of a stranger in a dimly lit cultural hall would change my entire life.
I think it was Last Dance.
I think it was MacArthur's
You
Park.
do?
I listened to them both, so
Yeah.
I didn't know which one for sure, but it's one of those.
Yeah.
Was the song that?
From Donna Summers.
Yeah, that we danced
That
to.
we
And it's
danced
one
to.
of the two. It was Donna Summers. And it was either I can't see. Yeah. It was MacArthur's Park or The Last Dance. But.
I think it's really hard for our brains as humans to remember that we don't know what's going to happen next. Our brains want to pretend like they can tell the future.
Yeah.
At every moment. It's weird.
Well, I was talking to Dad about coming home tonight, just talking to him about an event that happened before that dance. And if I had made another choice, I probably wouldn't have gone to that dance. But the choice I made me open to keep going and meeting people. And so it was so interesting that if I'd made the other choice, I don't know when we would have met.
Or if you would have at all.
Yeah. So it's so interesting, those different paths. We don't know what will bring us to a place where we might meet someone new or a new friend.
All we do know is that because we're sitting right here in this moment, that's on the path that we made thousands and thousands of choices. We ended up here. I mean, all of us, really.
Yeah.
By all the even more tens of thousands of choices that we've all made over decades of time.
Is that a positive thing for you or a negative thing?
Positive.
What about someone who could tell the same story mom just told, but ends up 5 years down the road being murdered by their husband and buried in the backwoods?
Then it would be probably a negative, obviously, a negative outcome.
It's interesting to try to put positive or negative on fate.
on events.
Just a roll of the dice.
Well, it's like I heard a story of, there was a story I read after 9/11 that talked about a few different events that put people in certain places that got them to the tower late. Like one lady had said she was running late to get her son to her first day of kindergarten, and normally she wouldn't have needed to do that, but because it was the first day, she went, and one guy had stepped on something and it broke something in a shoe or got a nail in it. And they used to have where you'd could go to a shoe cobbler, and he needed to go in and have something done to his shoe. Because of that, he wasn't in his office.
There's also thousands of people who were.
No, but I'm just saying that there's different outcomes of things. It doesn't mean good or bad. I was just saying this particular story.
I don't think that actually relates to good or bad. I think it's weird how people, I mean, all of us do this where we think about moments that are the most important. Like, this moment was the most important moment. It's what got me here. I don't think you can actually qualify or quantify the importance of a moment.
I agree. You can't qualify it. But whatever the choice or the moment is, there could be positive and negative aspects of that moment at the same time. But all the combination of positive and negative experiences that bring you to where you are in this moment, that's just living. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just life.
Well, and it's like you never know who you're going to meet or talk to in the store or whatever. And a lot of times you meet people, you have a really lovely conversation or maybe a bad conversation with them, but it was just somebody you happened to be next to in a line or something. You know, you don't know why in our life that we happen to smile at somebody or meet somebody or have something happen at different times. Like I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, we're just talking about strangers in the night, and I was just thinking of that dance that if Jody had danced with Dad and not me, I wouldn't have talked to him.
Not true.
No, but you asked Jody.
You guys
first.
were together. It doesn't matter.
Yes, but you
were together, and when I saw you, everything else faded away.
Right, but you asked her first, and if she had said yes, you would have walked out with her. I was behind her. You didn't see me.
You were together.
I walked out and said, Jody, go dance with him. So you didn't see me. So that's an interesting thought, right? What would have happened? We may not have met that night. So, I mean, it was dark and he was a stranger, and that's what I thought about. So, and my grandma's words. She always used to tell me different stories, fate, different things. So, anyways. All right.
Jeff?
See? It does sing.
All right. This is a story I thought about for the topic, titled A Stranger's Drumbeat. Running was all he knew. Ever since Bartimaeus left home, he's been running. Running so long, Bartimaeus couldn't really remember why he started in the first place. It was the very thought that caused him to slow down. First off, not remembering why a person is doing a thing causes most to slow down, at least for a moment. Over the last several hours, Bartimaeus' steps had slowed to a walk, each step being considered. He didn't hate the trees' sharp branches and the thick thorny brush when he walked. I started running as a boy, Bartimaeus remembered, as he saw a clear path through a tightly bunched group of trees, a path that would have remained unseen if he was still running. Bartimaeus' memories flashed. None of the adults he interacted with could look at him for long. Their tired eyes seemed to drift to just behind him, and then widen with fear, as if Bartimaeus was stalked by some invisible monster. Bartimaeus began running for two main reasons. He didn't want to be the reason for sparking fear in those he cared about. He also didn't want the monster, whatever it was, to catch him. A single glistening tear rolled off of Bartimaeus' cheek as he remembered those he left behind to protect. His salt again being added to the earth's. His face is mapped with his lifelong marathon. If you could gaze upon his face, your eyes would never stop moving. This scar leading to this scratch, leading to this scar, until your eyes fell into the deep blue, flecked with gold eyes. The sun's rays tried to hold to the thick, gnarled trunks as Bartimaeus continued to slowly pick his way through thickets and centuries of the forest. He was noticing his body in unfamiliar ways, rather than the tension of his muscles. His breath was no longer the sole sound filling his ears. A dusky breeze running from the sun rustled frowsy leaves and evergreen needles. His footfall mixed with the creatures of the forest. As his awareness expanded, a distant snap of a branch causes him to startle and hold completely still, statuesque in the fading light. I have ran for too long and too far that monster to be keeping up. There's no way. Bartimaeus soothed himself as he took another slow step into a clearing. The sun's last gift of this day revealing to Bartimaeus the clearing surrounded by thick trees, like some protected wall built by unseen hands. Comfort filled his heart as the last light faded. This is where he would rest. Rest. What a foreign concept, Bartimaeus bemused. He was familiar with running until darkness covered his sight, and then dropping into an exhaustive yet restless sleep. He laid upon the unaccustomed calm like a new mattress, stiff and unwelcoming. A cricket chirped musically near his left ear. He put his hands behind his head and allowed his eyes to drift upward from the direction of the hidden cricket towards the night sky. Bartimaeus missed the moon. She is not at her post this night, he thought. Because of the missing reflective light of the moon, he was able to watch the void darkness bloom with starlight like a flowering tree in the spring warmth. As Bartimaeus' attention focused on a cluster of stars reminding him of a warrior, the strange noise was practically ignored by his ears. It didn't fit anything found in his brain. The exotic sound beat through the barriers in his mind, and he whispered, "I'm not alone." Bartimaeus heard a drum beat, low and rhythmic. The vibrations filled the clearing and bounced off of every tree. The reverberations pounded fear into every cell of his body. Dum, 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 dum. Bartimaeus' initial reaction was to revert back to what he had always done and run. The word rest seemed to bounce on the beats of each drum stroke. He refused to go back. He refused to let go of his new pace. If he had to live life running, he didn't know if he wanted to live. Bartimaeus denied his body's desire to stand as the drum beat continued. He did not trust his legs. Instead, he sat up beneath the blinking stars and breathed as deep as he could, the sound of his own breath drowned by the drumming. Bartimaeus did what his brain said was impossible and spoke a question to the drummer. "Who are you?" His voice cracking slightly. No response, just the organic beat continuing its rhythm. With more air and power, he asked once more, "Who are you?" His question now putting up a real fight to be heard. No response, only drumming. "Maybe you are like me and cannot answer such a question. Yesterday I would have told you I was a runner. Today, I don't know." Bartimaeus spoke this last statement with intense volume, as if anger pushed his voice to fight. Anger at his mind being filled with flashes of color rather than memories of looking at stars. Rage that his relaxed body felt unsafe, and a part of him craved the tension of muscles constantly running. Bartimaeus spoke more to himself than the drummer. "Maybe I am the one who welcomes the stars and gives ear to the lonely cricket." The intensity of the pounding dropped, as if to catch this simple declaration from a man unknown to himself. "Where are you going?" Bartimaeus shouted loudly once more. The drumming vibration increased in volume, fighting Bartimaeus' attempt to escape outside of himself. "Ha! More silence, you coward!" Words desperately thrown as a smoke bomb. Dum, 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 dum. "I don't know where I'm going." The drum pounding lessened slightly. "I have been running for so long, and for what? Where is the monster I gave my life to surviving? Come, tear me to shreds and prove my life has not been spent in vain." Bartimaeus spoke from the depths, a yell of war, a desire for death. His head dropped between his knees. The drum beat softer still, and no monster appeared. "Where am I going? Where am I?" His voice caught briefly. The drum beat was low, soft, and steady, like a billow breathing life into a coal almost gone out. The moon, fully pregnant, started to share her beams. "I don't know where I am going, but I will follow the game trail revealed by her beams. I will step when the trees part. I will crawl when the hedge opens up to me," Bartimaeus declared, and the drum beat more firm, not in a fight, but as reinforcements following a commander. The drumming quivers approached closer to Bartimaeus. For the first time, Bartimaeus sat still and listened. He heard the call of the drummer to walk with rhythm no matter the path. He heard the drummer making the bed of rest found in each moment provided him. He heard his own heart beat, aching, asking for a curious ear to learn its shapes, to hold its fears, and to give fresh air to its wounds. Bartimaeus suddenly stood up. The drumming had increased instantaneously, urging him to follow the moon's beams. So he did. Bartimaeus could see the small lake from afar, her pale, circular reflection shining brightly off the glass-like water. Before he dipped his hands into the cool pool to wash his face and to wet his lips, he looked down. A reflection never before seen appeared. Bartimaeus watched a moonlit tear slide down his cheek, full of salt and gratitude for the opportunity to hear a stranger's drum beat.
You had a couple lines about his tears falling to the earth and the salt returning. I just like that thought of the cyclical nature of everything. You know, at one point that salt didn't belong to Bartimaeus, but he gave it back to the earth.
I had this picture in my mind as you read of Bartimaeus, running, and people looking behind him, afraid of this unknown monster. and he was just gonna go and escape that whole thing. And the descriptive way that you wrote that was really portrayed a very beautiful image of this human being running, escaping the monster. And you had one part in there that you wrote about where you described zooming into his eye. I thought that was really well written. And I don't know if you can pull that up. I thought that was, I'd like you to read that that build up to going to the very center of Bartimaeus's eye.
If you could gaze upon his face, your eyes would never stop moving, this scar leading to this scratch, leading to this scar, until your eyes fell into the deep blue flecked with gold eyes.
That was really good.
So when you wrote this, did you, in your head, know why he started running?
Interesting question. What was Bartimaeus' motives?
Yeah, what was his motivation to escape the monster?
I talked about it in terms of he didn't want to keep bringing what he saw as fear to people's faces. And he didn't want the monster to get him or what he thought was the monster.
So to me, when you were reading that, you were being very descriptive about when he finally stopped running and he thought he would rest, and he started hearing the drums and then the different sounds of the drums and how they've slowed down, and when he would yell, they'd get like more intense. And so to me, I pictured that being his heart, that he was hearing his heart beat, and that was the drums, and he had mistaken what he thought were drums were really coming from him. It was his fear that he had created this whole kind of monster that really was within him with the fear. So I don't know what that was the way I interpreted your story, but I don't know what your exact thoughts were on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to find rest in this world and find peace, and I don't think enough people talk about what happens when you actually find that. And what happens is you often are faced with yourself in a way that you've never been faced before because things are quiet. And I think that's an important idea because, I think it's different than people think. I'll find rest and then the work is done, so to speak.
And then it will just be quiet.
And I'll just be quiet all the time.
Yeah, I never liked quiet when I married Dad, and he would be gone or I'd be home, or when my parents were gone and I was home alone. So I'd always turn the TV on or the radio on or the record player. Didn't like quiet.
All right, Dad.
Sure.
I don't know where I've seen it, but I've seen a picture or a video of a camera zooming maybe from space all the way into a little fleck in a human being's eyeball, in their iris. Yeah, so that was good. And there was another thing. Maybe I'll talk about it when we start. Another thing that you wrote in there that I really liked was your description of the fall leaves being rustic, frowsy. Did you catch that from our dog? Yeah, that was really good.
Oh,
All right. So, the theme, as you all know by now, is Strangers in the Night. But the title of this writing is Strangers Among Us. DNA mingles. Life begins. A stranger germinates within. Enveloped in placental warmth and fluidity, tiny organs begin to grow, little fingers and little toes. Fetus sounds rhythmically thump-thump and whoosh. A mother's heartbeat vibrates love through nesting waters. Little beings of innocence and awe wondering, who is the stranger in my constant night? Questioning, yes. Yet with every moment's passing, with every cell's growing, with little bodies rolling, this host's natural love expanding, encouraging, whispering, little one, I'm not a stranger. I love you. But how and why the little one naturally moves inside? I don't know. I can't help myself. It just is, my sweet baby, forever. A tear of joy drops gently on the umbilical remnants of her own nurturing lifeline, salinating saturation through cells of growing familiarity. Do I know you? Humanity hesitates. Apparently not. Empathy scoffs as inhumanity's fools rush in. Seasons of life pass evenly. Methodically, familiar strangers in the night times of life, until expectedly a chill is in the air. The snow falls gently, yet out of nowhere, anger rears its ugly head, vomiting words of deep regret. Complacency crushes hope. A young boy cries out strangely. A young girl fears the dark. Human beings cower in corners of harsh emotion as familiar strangers shatter beautiful icicles of watery trust. Strangers wander senselessly, void of wonder, unchildlike, lost in space and time, adrift in endless seasons of mediocrity. Dullness becomes their cyclic trance, specters to the trusted, doomed to transform into the walking dead. Familiarity's antithesis, unknown, unfeeling, unliving, mere strangers among us. Lives shared, commitments, duty, companions through life's journey, families created, love expanded, anguish and joy disbanded. Tears flow freely, gratitude shines keenly. Do you know me? Her yearning desires mutely. Do I know her? He smiles, fiddling thoughtfully across the rooftops of his mind. Yes, but no. His honesty admits out loud as he admires her thoughtful compassion. When, with great anticipation, snow melts, saturating warming soil impregnated with sprouting fertility seeds, germinating forth in rapid greenness and springing upwards in a blossoming kaleidoscope of nature's color explosion. Yet, this delightful magical season of wonder reveals 15,000 blue planets' rotations shared, along with 15,000 kisses, 15,000 I love yous, 15,000 touches. Je t'aime, he whispers softly to the stranger in the night who shared his bed 15,000 times. Longingly, summer lifts its lazy head, drifting into a dog day haze. Heat shimmers illusions of knowing over 8 billion flickering stars. Masses of strangers, uniquely different, desperately searching in and out of love's elusive void. Passing in the night, strangers, unknown, indistinguishable, blips on Earth's rotating radar of commonality, trapped in a world of unknown, unseeing, unfeeling masses, forgotten. Mere strangers in flight. What are you running from? Penetrating summer sun demands. Myself, humanity blindly turns away. Unavoidable, mirrors torturous gaze, inevitably present, true to its reflection, yet painfully in reverse, fundamentally misrecognized, distorted. Who are you? The stranger's unfamiliar face queries to the self-facing no one. In a vast, unassuming, all-encompassing love, humanity answers simply, let it be. Breathe. Just live. You are enough. Inevitably, fall's seasonal chill fractures life's will to know as a dying, beautifully resplendent leaf flutters around, dancing with strangers, grappling in their plight, encouraging strangers to fight a noble fight, smiling playfully with strangers constantly struggling towards the light. Mere strangers in the night.
You sparked this thought for me in terms of what we were talking about earlier, or what I had mentioned, and people having a hard time really sitting with someone else and just understanding them. Oftentimes people will try to think about what they're going to say instead of listen. And I wonder if that happens because, at least my experience, when you sit with another human and you really try to see them, I can't help but see myself too. And I wonder if that is scary sometimes for people, to see a reflection of what really is.
Causes people to run. When yourself is a stranger to you, you don't even know what you're looking at or what you're hearing when your own heart is beating. I really like that story.
Yeah, I think about all the people that I've come in contact with in my life, and especially the ones that I've been around the most. And looking in the mirror, I realized, like Jeffrey, like you said, that facing that face in the mirror that's familiar yet unknown is one of the most hardest things that I think a human being has to do, is to face themselves.
Do you think it's necessary?
I feel like it's important. I think about all the moments Mom and I have had together, and yet, do I really know what's in her mind? Do I really know it? I don't know. I don't think so. I think I know parts of it, but I don't think I know her intent and her just her being inside of her. I don't think I know it.
I think actually that's something we've been actually working on. Last week in my writing, I actually mentioned some things of maybe my story, but that how I think people look at me or what there's a part that I said, this is my story, and it was what I think, right? And so, yeah, some of those things we're learning to try to figure out each other. For sure. That's part of, even in our 60s, that we can hopefully do.
Can you really ever know someone else? In a way, we're all trapped in our personal, internal voids.
I think, yes, I do understand what you're saying, but I think there's a point that you make a decision to allow someone to know you as well as you can, maybe that you can.
As well as you can.
As well as you can, maybe.
Yeah, as
Which
well
is-
as you can.
Is what you're saying, I guess.
That was the intent of that writing, was that do we really ever know another human being completely?
We're all strangers.
Strangers.
Yeah.
We're all strangers. Even though we live together in a lot of our existence.
Still things we don't understand about each other or,
And
I don't
know
think
what
it's
people
about
are
understanding
thinking,
necessarily.
or what people are thinking. We assume. But
There's words you say, and then there's always thoughts that are happening in between the words you're saying. And
Yeah.
You can't always be saying the words that are happening in between the words you're saying.
yeah.
Can you imagine this world if every thought we had was just displayed?
There's a movie that was made
It was
about
Liar. Wasn't it Liar, whatever?
that. No. It was one. It flopped. It had Spider-Man in it. What's his name? Tom Holland. It didn't do very well. But it was like an alien species, and their thoughts would be displayed as bubbles in front of everybody.
Oh, interesting. I'd say Jim Carrey did the movie, though, that he had to say he was a liar, but he had to say the truth now. And that was hard, right? You go from one thing and all of a sudden everything's just flying out of your mouth. But I thought in your writing, there was a little section in there that reminded me of a little bit of what Peyton had written about sort of that being alone and people just going along. It just felt like it kind of fit with your writing. But something in there that I really liked was just thinking about how nature and animals and people were all kind of the same. You talked about just the impregnating and blossoming of the spring.
The seed, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, that's the world kind of goes around that same. Everything's kind of trying to do the same thing, to survive.
It's the sacred mushroom in the cross.
Do you think that you have a responsibility, if you're going to involve yourself in other people's lives, to get to know yourself first?
Good question.
I think it's helpful. I'm
I
learning.
think it's tremendously helpful. I think in order to share space and to help another human being, I think you do have to have some self-awareness of who you are.
But most of the time we don't. Honestly, most people are struggling every day in where they fit or what they're hurt by or what they're trying to do, whatever it is. And I think it's super interesting to reflect back on things of your life and try to work better on being more open to try to attempt to listen and not get angry and not get dragged down by the things of the world,
Well, sometimes I think when
like scrolling.
when we're young and impressionable and we have full trust in another human being, and then there's anger or abuse or complacency, that shatters that trust. We almost feel, I'm just telling you how I felt as a young boy. You almost feel like, I don't know, I thought I knew this person, but I don't really know this person. I don't trust this person anymore. I feel like this person's a stranger to me. And I think that happens a lot in our world. And I think it's a hard thing, but it's one of those things that, you know, we have strangers in our bedroom sometimes. But if I were ever having to live my life with a stranger, I'm glad it's you.
Thanks, honey. But can you imagine for people that have had spouses that have ended up doing just horrendous things and they honestly didn't see it, and there were one person to them and actually murdered somebody or did something and they didn't have any idea? I mean, a lot of people do have inklings, but that's just crazy to me that people can be two different people.
Not just two.
Or five.
People are many different people for many different people.
Is it crazier to think about someone being two different people, or someone being so blind that they can't see two different people?
Well, right? We set up our life. We think we know we got it.
Or maybe we just see what we want to
Right,
see.
but that's what I'm saying. We truly don't see because we think we got this picture perfect life, or maybe it's a sucky life, whatever it is that you're going through, and you don't see past those four corners that you're stuck in. You can't see beyond that. So maybe that is part of what we need to learn, is to be able to actually, by listening and learning and seeing, because there probably are warnings that people have, even in ones that do the best tricking.
I think that's one of the values of knowing yourself. Because if you know yourself, good, bad, and ugly, you're going to be able to see that in other people too.
I also feel like, I don't know, being raised religious, you're taught not to move in with someone until you get married, or live with the other sex until you're married. But I feel like there's benefit to living with your partner, because a lot of stuff comes out.
It's definitely going to give you more information.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, I
My
feel like,
Think about
Yeah,
how
right.
many religious people maybe wouldn't have gotten married if they'd known their
Yeah.
partner.
A little bit
there's
more.
so
a
many
little bit.
stories.
I think there's a lot of
A
people,
lot,
and I
yeah.
think there's people who get married because they think, oh, I'm in love. They are doing everything we're told we're supposed to do, so they must be the right one.
Yeah.
And then it puts
That's
you
to
in.
Abby's point, though.
But then if they had lived together before, then secrets would have come out.
Yeah.
You
Maybe.
can't really hide very much when you're together all the time.
Unless, I think, in
You
today's
can do
world,
it for a time, but
Yeah.
not too.
I think in today's world, if your spouse doesn't let you, or your partner doesn't let you look at their phone, or doesn't let you put like of people to track each other. I mean, they were talking about how,
All right, big brother.
well, I mean, I'm just saying that if people wouldn't let you do that, that's a
Why
red
would
flag.
you want to
I
do that
don't.
to somebody?
I don't, but I'm just saying, if you've
Isn't
got,
What if
it a
somebody
red
was
flag
like-
for
somebody wants to track me out.
Isn't it a red flag for somebody to assert that much dominance over somebody?
I think people should look at phones.
Well,
I think people should.
That's not what I. Just answer my question. Isn't it a red flag for somebody to assert that much dominance over somebody?
But if you had a spouse that had a locked phone and you couldn't look at it,
Do you want to control someone?
Huh?
Do you want to control another human?
Dad can look at my phone. I look.
yeah,
at
yeah, can. But
Do you
Would
want
you-
to?
actively, like, I'm going to track you. I'm going to check your messages.
Well, There's some good in that tracking. I think we don't have it, but if if somebody got into trouble, it's nice that
If you believe so strongly about it, you should start doing it for each other.
I'll do it.
Track it, go
Let's
to each other's
track it.
phone,
I
We
go through
have.
each other's history. You should do it all.
We have.
Great.
I
Wow.
I track pain. Not like creepily.
I was like,
what? I'm like,
I don't
where's
care.
Payne? I was like, where's Payne? And I'm like, oh, there he is.
I don't have it.
I get maybe like parents with kids and then like each other, but
Well, I'm not talking about everybody.
My family. I
Do
learned
they all
that
track each other?
my siblings have tracking on my parents,
That's so.
I tried my parents.
and I just thought that was a little weird.
Well, I think people
That's so
do, especially
strange.
getting
Very
older. I think. Listen, when Dad and I are old, I mean, we are old.
There's one thing if your aged parent has Alzheimer's.
Pop, I have no desire to waste my time worrying about what another person's
No,
doing.
I agree. I'm just saying. I think there are some
agree with
things.
To me, it's just
No,
wasted.
I
agree with
think
that.
I think there's red flags in relationships. If you can't, that's where the secrets come, right?
Well, that goes back to what Abby was saying, though. If you spend enough time with someone, you're going to look them in the face. You're going to ask them questions. You're going to be able to gather information. And by that information, you can make a more sound decision on your future.
Yeah.
People lie though.
Also, aren't relationships based in trust? At least they should be.
I just think if people are hiding things, then that's a
Well,
question.
yes.
Then
if-
maybe they should
If
be
Payne's
together.
like, hey, who texted you? And I'm like, no one.
Right.
No one texted me.
That's really good, Abby.
And that would be a little suspicious.
Yes, it would.
But I don't know.
Or when you pick up your husband's phone, they say give it back, won't let you look at all, like nothing. That would be a wonder.
As long as you're open about everything, there shouldn't be any reason. Like, there's no reason for me to check your search history because we talk about everything.
Right.
It's not like there's any surprises.
I think like taking it one step further, it's do you want to be worried about
yes.
somebody's life in that way all the time?
No, I'm not.
That's a lot of stress.
That's-
That's a lot of like
It's all
control
pressure.
you don't have.
Yeah.
You don't have any control over what they do. It's like you either have a commitment of like this is the person I want to live with, and this is the person I want to live my life with.
And I want to deal with
And
their crap.
Even
That's part of that
even
choice.
with their crap,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna drive myself crazy
Insane.
figuring out what he's hiding.
Well, and
if he is hiding,
that's-
then that's something to be a red flag of.
Or she.
Or yes, it could be a she.
That's
Absolutely.
also putting somebody on a pedestal and saying you have to be perfect.
Yeah.
And if you're not perfect, if I catch you doing anything wrong,
Anything.
then we're done.
Well, I also think that comes to communication, right? Where if you're able to talk about things that maybe you've done wrong and you're working on, or whatever it is through meeting and what different things problems you've dealt with, or whatever, who you've dated, whatever things, if you guys are honest, then those things don't really matter. But I'm just saying, no, it's not something I would want to do all the time. But if you had suspicions of things, you'd certainly want to look.
I think you just talk to them, and if
They don't give you the answer.
well,
You
there-
gather
you-
information.
I think you gather the information. I think you listen to yourself and what is your gut telling you, and then you kind of have to go from there. I think trusting yourself more in that way. I think that's more of the control that you have rather than placing it on.
Yes, but we all can be
Where are
fooled,
you?
so there's nothing
I
wrong
agree.
with being careful. And that doesn't, I mean, maybe once a year you just happen to throw it on, hey, let's show each other your phones.
Is that what you want?
Relationship advice with Poppy.
No.
We're gonna have a whole segment dedicated to
No.
it.
I'm just saying
That
that, hopefully you have somebody who
You trust.
you trust, because you talk about everything. When Dad and I in
Right.
our life have met couples that literally do not know who they dated. I don't know what they talk about. Like, Dad
I
had a girlfriend that we were looking out the window, and here comes Dad's old girlfriend and her husband moving into the apartment right next door to us, or down the stairs from us. And he's like, that's so-and-so. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so once we get talking to her, I'm by myself with her in the apartment, and Dad's gone off with the husband, and she says, please don't tell my husband that I ever dated Jeff. I've never told him about Jeff. And I'm like, why? Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, I knew exactly who she was.
That's the type of person that would want to track her husband's
No
things.
kidding.
Though.
Yeah, intent like
Intent.
It's almost like-
That's
it's
the
almost
type
like
of
they
person
have-
that would want that.
Right, but isn't that
They-
crazy that you wouldn't share somebody that they dated for a year? That's like weird to me.
If you have
That
to
you
hide
wouldn't-
something, then you are constantly probably looking at what are they hiding.
Right. Well, I guess that's, I could have shared that.
I'm gonna check
Solve
your
the
location
conversation.
if you don't answer the phone. I'm like, is Payne asleep or where is he? And then if he's at home, he's probably asleep. So I'm like, oh, that's why he's not answering.
I never check the location. Ever.
Do you even have one?
She's like, do you even care about me?
What if I got kidnapped?
I'd like
What
Dad
am
to
I
know
saying?
where my location in case something happened to me.
That's so funny.
Are you ready?
Sometimes.
Here, you can finish your thought while we change seating.
I was just saying, I'm
Hey,
Yeah, I know. I have an order to this.
Okay.
whoa.
I was just saying, Peyton, that I was like you in that thinking. I've never even thought about tracking or locations, or
Yeah.
it's just not.
So
I just
pointless.
heard
It's
somebody
not
talking
part of
Well,
my
it's like-
thoughts.
If somebody is cheating on you, and that's what they want to do, is you trying to find that out all the time going to change the fact
Well,
that they're
that's
cheating
not
on
what
you?
I'm saying.
I've-
Spending your life doing
I've
that.
spent, and I don't love saying this about myself. I've spent much of my life believing in a ownership model of relationship because of my, what would you say, status or whatever. Like, I believed in an ownership model of a relationship,
What does the ownership
and I
model
think
mean?
that's a really unhealthy viewpoint.
I agree.
If someone else wants to do something, they're an individual. They can do what they're going to do, and then I can make a decision based on that.
But it's hard when you grew up in a faith that didn't allow for individuals to be.
Yeah.
So for an individual to exist, it was bad. It wasn't
Yeah, it was
good.
bad. Yep, we had to be one.
Yep.
I own you.
Wow. I think she really believes that.
She does. She's like, have your location.
I
I think she really believes that.
Sometimes I like to be dramatic. Like, is Payne cheating on me? I'm like, Payne, who texted you?
Abby, I think you missed your calling.
You should write a
Should
soap
be,
opera. Or something.
Yeah.
She could write a soap opera.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story and you can write it. It's too hard to write.
No,
it.
your short stories are great.
Yeah.
I know.
They
I
are.
love your
The
love
end.
stories.
The end.
That's all.
They're actually my favorite.
Did you say the end on that one?
No, she
I
didn't.
did.
No.
You did?
Yeah.
I just remember the
always hear
fly
it and I
getting
missed it.
killed.
That's all I remember is the fly.
The fly got killed, and that was the end.
Damn.
I just was thinking of the poor little fly, and I didn't think about the end.
Okay.
Here it goes. When the sun goes down to sleep, and everyone you know are counting sheep, strangers wake up and rule the night. They walk, forage, and some take flight. The owl watches over the terrain, critters are cautious of his domain. The fox is quiet and sneaky to find, sleeping chickens no matter the kind. Guard your garbage from the masked faces. Raccoons are always near those places. As you look to the sky for shadows in flight, screeching bats provide a way to give them sight. Someone has a long nose and tongue to taste, and aardvark hunts and chases ants with haste. Don't forget the cute little hedgehog, though. He has a great nose, but can barely see his toe. Then there is a smell that is like no other. It's a skunk. Don't believe me? Go ask your mother. So I guess they are all strangers to the day. They don't have to be strange. It is just their way.
It's a great little book.
Yeah, very cute. I love all the animals that you put in there and the little descriptions about what they were doing and interacting, and it was really good.
When you said smell, and every once in a while, Archie, my parents' dog, has a butt problem. And I'm sitting here on the couch thinking, man, I really stink. And then I realized it's not me. It's the skunk Archie that's laid on this corner of the couch, and I can smell it.
It made
Archie
you
or
sick
Sadie?
out up there today.
It's
Oh,
Archie. That's a very Archie smell.
oh, jeez.
He has those little butt pustules.
No,
No,
don't even mention
oh,
them. I've seen them possible.
Happy's baby.
Remember when Oslo had those?
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're so
That was
bad.
so bad.
Well, the other thing too is because Archie, I had no idea that a lab poodle could drool. I never wanted
Dogs
a
drool.
drooling dog, but
They
no,
do.
Archie drools.
That's
Like,
because his anxiety is.
and
11 out of
so you get that in any hair up here, and it's like, ugh, it's bad. But honestly, I had with the skunk and the raccoons, but the little. A couple of things, like I could picture as you were telling your cute little story. Have any of you guys ever walked outside at night and you just kind of get almost this like creepy feeling of like who's watching?
Okay, that's
used
real.
Do you,
I've never had that
to. I used
feeling.
you used to get that?
to. Yep. When I was more like you.
Do you get that every time you go out?
No, it's just sometimes I just all of a sudden you just
Really?
go. Just you look around,
You
just
think
sometimes.
somebody's watching
Paranoid.
with
No,
binoculars or what?
No. It's just something about the dark.
It's the monster behind it.
Yeah, it's something in the dark. But
A smidgen
We-
of schizophrenia.
we had a dog named Mary. I think Mary was involved in this one too. But Dad heard something scream, and Dad ran out into the side of the yard, and there was raccoons.
Okay, that's. Do you want me to tell?
Go ahead.
The scream, the noise came from the garage.
Oh.
And I threw the door open, Manor Drive house, the garage door, and I came face to face with 5 snarling raccoons in the garage. Mary, we had been
Little dog.
skunked out in the yard, and we smothered tomato paste.
Yeah, but this,
All
I was
over.
talking about the raccoons.
And the skunk. There was a skunk in her story.
I know, but the little dog got sprayed with skunk right when Pierce was a week old, and Mary come through the dog door up in her room, up on the bed, and we were like, "Whoa!" And there was skunk all. We jumped up, grabbed the baby, and there was skunk in the bed and on the rug and everything. It was terrible. We put poor Mary in the bathtub and left him in there, and girl, whatever Mary was. But anyways, yes, your story made the whole thing come to life for me.
I think, Ali, all of the animals that you described in your writing, I've seen, and I know that they're
You
around.
have aardvarks.
No, let me finish my statement. All of the animals I have seen or I know that are around Cache Valley, but aardvarks, I don't think so. They're like
hedgehogs.
Texas or
Well, a hedgehog.
Wait, are hedgehogs? Do they have not good sight? Why could he not see his toe?
They don't have very good
Or
sight.
big bellies, one or the other.
no, we have hedgehogs.
That hedgehog.
They don't have very
Pierce
good
and
sight.
Jeremy
They
have
have
a
good
hedgehog.
No, I
ears
know.
and taste or
Gotcha.
something.
I had to take care of Pierce's hedgehog.
Yeah.
Pierce told me what to do, and all of a sudden I come in, and hedgehog is like, oh, like flat out.
Dead?
No, I thought I'd killed him, but some with the heat or something happened. I don't know. I was freaking out. Killed the poor hedgehog, but I didn't.
Miley, you ready?
She was born ready.
Waited. How old are you? 16? 16 years for this moment?
Yeah.
Oh,
This is called Whispers in the Dark.
excuse me.
Whispers in the Dark.
Whispers. Sorry,
Part
all
of
I
the
heard
title,
was.
she was whispering.
I only heard dark.
Strangers in the night, shadows so entwined, their paths converging like fate's design. Glimpses shared, hearts whispered soft in the quiet dark, where souls are lost. A short glance, a silent sigh, stars above the moonlit sky, echoes of dreams, both near and far, glimmering brightly like a fallen star. Steps uncertain, yet destiny's grace, leading them closer to face. In the moment so brief yet intense, a connection found without a sound. Their worlds collide and drift apart, leaving behind a mark on the heart. Strangers in the night, forever bound by the memories of in silence found.
Could you read that last word? Sorry. In
silence found.
In silence. Sorry. Ears went the wrong way. In silence found.
You okay?
You always have a really fun way that you put together your poems or little stories to give me a second. I'll think about the one part that I was going to talk about, but I went blank.
You're very pretty.
I was thinking the same thing. I like this cool thing
Falling
coming down.
hair.
This cool thing coming. What is it?
What do you
It's
call
like
this?
strand-like? Yeah.
Hair that
Oh.
falls.
Yeah, but it kind of outlines your slight
something.
the slight rounding of your cheek.
Oh.
Wait.
No way, we're not finished. Did I tap something? Did I ruin something?
Did you hit it?
Just stop hitting it with your foot.
We're gonna have noise through the whole
Yeah,
thing.
just stop hitting it with your foot.
You that experience I heard you describing of this moment of intense connection or spark that happens or can happen between two people. I count myself pretty lucky to have experienced that at least once in my life.
In the dark?
Maybe the light in the dark and the light.
As a man, I prefer the light.
Me too.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, you described it well.
I like your descriptions of the falling from the stars.
Being in love. Or having that intense feeling.
Isn't it funny how certain things get interpreted sometimes?
Sorry, Jeffrey. Oh.
What?
You're gonna say
Were you
something?
talking?
thought
I
you-
said what I said. I don't
What?
know if
We
you
didn't
guys
hear.
heard. I don't remember what I said.
Something about
I
stars.
said I liked your descriptions of falling stars.
Okay.
You also said something about the heart I really liked. I can't remember if it was at the end or the way, but there was a way you said something particular about the heart and something it did.
A mark on the heart.
Yeah. Like that.
What is your interpretation of that poem?
No.
I also think it's one of the things with having an intense experience like that. People want to describe it as only positive. Sometimes it's almost guaranteed to leave a mark of some kind of scar. You can't be that open without hitting some sort of nerve at some point.
That's what happens with love.
I think that's
It can-
interesting to think about as well. It's like
I want to read your poem.
we think about it as being open, but if we lived in a society where it was open constantly, would we think about it that way?
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
What, that love is open? What if we weren't allowed to love people?
It's not at all what I said.
Oh, well, I'm really confused.
So you don't want to share like what your like where your idea came from, like what?
What sparked your poem,
Just gonna
Miley?
giggle about it.
I was just writing a poem and strangers in the night. I don't know. It wasn't like a personal experience. It was just.
No one said it was.
It's I don't know.
You just did a really good job of explaining it.
You obviously were thinking about something when you wrote it. Strangers of the Night.
Yeah.
And you obviously had some
In the night.
sort of concept in your head to be able to put something cohesive like that together.
Could be anything. It could be an interaction. It could be a dream. Could be
two squirrels in a tree.
Yeah, it could be watching nature.
Whoa.
Great.
Okay.
Jeffrey!
Alright, my poem is called Familiar Strangers. One day, the moment shifts. Like all my life, I've been searching for your gifts. One moment, the day goes by, but my memory won't show me your eye. Climb the mountain, find the rift, enter the glow, feel your body lift, open your ears to the very first gift. A quiet compliment, an angel's voice, my mind's retirement, a release of choice. Her soul's instrument makes mine rejoice. You're cute, she said, then a flush of red, then a whole world opened up in my head. One night, don't sleep, this moment I want to keep. Open the door, let us take the floor, and after this dance, you'll keep asking for more. Follow my lead, sway at my speed. Gift number 2 is all that I need. The steady gaze tears time apart. Her eyes were glowing from the start. I just want to skip ahead to that one part of that one song, 'cause she's a tear in my heart. Cut me open, watch me bleed. You're the reason that I need. So allow me to take the lead. Ebb and flow, our bodies are freed. One inhale, hold your breath. Let her essence surround you. One exhale, let it go. Let her absence ground you. She's the ringing in my ear and the shining in my tear. Gift number 3 will leave me without fear. A peaceful slumber, my eyes can rest as I lay my head on your dancing breast. The present gift, I'll call it home, a place to find when I don't roam, a beacon of light, filling my sight as I look at her dancing as strangers in the night. One dance, eternal like the flame, one mind, an internal universe to tame. One soul seen by another, 2 completions creating each other. I see your fractals, beautiful static. I see through the window to your magic. I hear your music, cosmic vibrations. I hear the rhythm through the sensations. I feel your pull, your skin, your whole. I feel the gravity of your soul. I'll taste your lips and move your hips. I'll take you on all the adventures and trips. Let's take a chance. Who knows what's right? Let's have a dance as strangers in the night.
I could really hear that as a song.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, on the radio kind of song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
We should send that to somebody.
There was a lot of good lines in that. There was one line that really stood out to me was, the steady gaze tears time apart. Dude, that's a good line. That's a really good line. That's a great way to describe a moment of seeing each other and time just like stops.
Yeah.
Your scene of dancing too throughout, like you would talk about dancing, and that it just was good imagery of 2 people falling in love or just meeting on that night, whatever it may be.
I like your reference to the greatest philosopher of our time.
Joseph.
What did he have? What was it?
Tear in my heart.
Oh,
I love the rhythm and cadence of that writing. Really was. I could just picture these two people in love and the dance that they're going through, that journey, and how you wrote it, and it was good.
I'm curious, are you going to share that with anybody?
Yeah. I was just thinking at one
is
second.
that your red dress lady?
No.
Yeah.
Is it what? No, it's not.
It's a red dress lady.
I was thinking of remember the poem you wrote about.
You wrote in Guam.
Yeah,
red
you wrote
dress,
about
a dance,
red-
meeting a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same.
That's different.
No. Okay.
Girl.
He was in
Might as well be the
across-
same,
he was-
though.
He was across the might as well.
Oh well, I didn't know there's someone here.
Yeah. I like this idea that everybody is strangers, and the perfect relationship is one where two people who know that they're strangers are just like, well, let's create our own thing
Mm-hmm.
outside of ourselves, and let's call it a dance.
It's a cool idea.
That's what I wanted to portray in that poem.
It also makes me think of I don't know why my mind goes here, but Good Will Hunting. The therapist in that movie talks about soulmates being someone that not necessarily sparks a deep connection, but someone that stretches your soul, stretches you on a soul level. And I think you touched on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Soul stretching experience and the positive, I guess.
Is there ever a sleepless night that isn't a negative thing?
That isn't a negative thing.
Yeah, a lot of the time we think about
Definitely.
sleepless nights as being negative.
Oh, there's
But you wrote about that sleepless night as being a very positive thing.
There can be many of those nights.
Sometimes you
Do that.
just don't want to sleep. The moment's too good.
I really like the idea of like little gifts. I mean, you said there were a few gifts throughout the dance, and I just like that idea of there are in creating a relationship, there are little gifts that are found in that relationship, and I just really love that the way you said that.
Last week you asked everybody to critique your writing and only give critiques. Did you, while writing this, keep any of those critiques in your mind, or?
Yeah. Last week, Dad said, spend more time with it. So I read it a few times, changed up a few things, made it flow.
I followed it really well. This
Yeah, this was really, really good. It was a good story. I mean, you could see it going.
In my mind, musically wise, it was like a waltz. The cadence of it was like a 3-step waltz. It was really, I like the flow, tempo.
Will we get to meet this person we might share this?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Is this somebody new?
I don't know.
It might-
You and Miley are on a roll.
Hey, babe, pull that forward. I'm afraid it's going to break that.
It's a familiar stranger.
How would it break the tie?
Not the
Yeah, there's a
tile.
little wooden
The wooden thing.
edge. Just bring the rocking chair forward an inch or two.
Well, it doesn't matter now. We're about done with the night.
We're strangers.
I'll obey you guys.
Strangers in the night.
All right, so we already got a title taken care of. Is there any other orders of business we need to take care of before wrap everything up?
We have guests next week.
Yeah, guests, stay tuned. It's
Yeah,
gonna be good.
stay tuned for guests next week. Jeff's guests.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you stayed till the end, if you adored this journey, then thank you, and we really appreciate you being here. if you don't mind dropping us a comment, sharing this video, hitting that subscribe button, and if you leave us a 5-star review, then you might get a chance to dance with a stranger.
In the night.